Hello and welcome. You tune into Your Trades with me, Ankita Saxena, and with me is Kanishka Sarkar. In the next half an hour, we'll take you through how the markets shaped up today and what can you expect from tomorrow's trading session. But first up, it was a day of declines as far as the markets are concerned. We gave up all those gains from the morning. In fact, from the day's highs, we were down almost 140 points in the Nifty. 812 is where we shut shop as far as Nifty is concerned. Nifty Bank, however, managed to close in the green today. Nifty Bank was actually bucking the trend from what Nifty was doing. Actually, we did close up 114 points higher on Nifty Bank. And if you look at the broader markets also, if you can pull up the charts for the mid cap and the small caps, mid cap was trading in the red, following suit with Nifty towards the lowest point with cuts of 270 points. The small caps were also trading in the red. It was trading with cuts of 0.2%. So mid cap taking a sharper knock there. But let's take a look at the sectors also. We did have Nifty Auto that was doing well today. In fact, there was a bit of a sectoral churn that we noticed. Nifty IT that had been doing well, that was correcting today, and Nifty Auto was in the fast lane since get-go. In fact, with gains of 0.3%. Maruti, MRF, M&M, Eicher Motors were trading with gains of almost 1%. Nifty Bank, of course, like I mentioned, IndusInd Bank was buoying the sentiment there because IndusInd Bank had a brokerage note by Nomura that had upgraded the stock with a target price that was raised to 1,050 rupees. And on the back of that, IndusInd Bank was up in a way 5%. That was really aiding Nifty Bank today. Besides that, we also had Trent that was one of the top Nifty gainers on the back of a Morgan Stanley note that was maintaining an overweight, and a Citi note that was maintaining a buy call on Trent. So Trent was also trading with gains of 2%. BSE, another important counter that was in focus today on the back of the fact that they have announced the shift in the expiry weekly contracts from Tuesday to Thursday. On the back of that, BSE was in focus today, trading with cuts of almost 1%. Besides that, we had Hindustan Zinc and Vedanta that was in focus in the back of that big block deal, where Zinc was down almost 7% in trade today, after Vedanta offloaded 1.7% stake for almost 3,323 crore rupees. And on the back of this block deal, Hindustan Zinc and Vedanta was in focus today. So these were a couple of names, important names that were in focus. Tell me, Kanishka, what are you picking up?
That's right. All these names were in focus. But, now to deconstruct what shaped up the trend today and also how must we be preparing for the markets tomorrow, we are joined by Amar Singh, who's the Senior Vice President of Research at Angel One. Very good afternoon, Amar. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, given the volatility that we have been seeing in the global markets, Indian markets for the longest time were resilient, right? But in the past few sessions, that is at least 4 out of 5 past few sessions, we have seen a negative trend there. Now, do you expect further consolidation to continue? And if so, how long is it going to continue? What are the charts indicating?
Yeah, very good evening, and thank you for having me on the show. So I would say that we are far better placed with regards to what's actually happening in the Middle East, because Iran is a significant player in the Middle East, and if we look at the way crude oil prices have spiked and continue to trade at elevated levels, so from that perspective, our markets really haven't corrected much. So that is definitely a sign of strength, or maybe some expectations that maybe what's happening in Middle East would come to some conclusion in a short span of time. I think that's what the markets, not only our markets, but international markets and investors are actually factoring in. Having said that, if we see that across the board, across sectors, we've seen some positive movements happening. Banks definitely have outperformed today also. Some of the banks have done well. So it's more of sector specific, and also it's going to be more of stock specific. As far as the benchmark indices are concerned, yes, you are right that we could witness some sort of consolidation. Because if I look at the trend from a short term to, I would say maybe a couple of weeks, it's more or less consolidation on the upside, 25,200, 300. That's a zone of resistance where Nifty is likely to run into. On the downside, support is somewhere around 24,400, 500. So this 700, 800 points is what actually Nifty is trading in. And till the time we don't see a break either side, we would witness some consolidation. And also it would also be a factor of the events which are unfolding in the Middle East. That definitely is one major factor to watch out for. On our side, on the country domestic side, we have positive news on the inflationary concerns. So they have reduced. Rate cut has been more than expected. So I think the domestic macros are comparatively stronger. That's what's helping the markets. But we'll have to be prepared for some sort of volatility. As far as the other index is concerned, Bank Nifty, that's really held up strongly because Bank Nifty, if you look at, it's slightly below its all-time record highs, and it's in for consolidation. But Bank Nifty also on the downside would have strong support coming around 54,800, 55,000 level, but upside seems to be capped around 56,500 level. So it's more of 1,000-1,500 points for Bank Nifty as well. But you'll have to be slightly cautious because news flows are also likely to impact the markets.
All right. So that's how the market is going to look like. A bit of a consolidation coming in. But tell me, amid this volatility that's persisting in the market, Amar, what are your picks? What are your calls?
Yeah, so I would say one is from the banking space, and that is RBL Bank. So what we're seeing in RBL Bank is that the stock was really hammered, if you could say, from almost 300 to 140 levels. Now it's moved up towards 225, 228 levels. It is inching towards some higher levels. So it needs to sustain above the 225, 230 level. Then we could witness the stock rally towards the 250 mark. So anyone looking at a buying opportunity needs to have a stop loss of 207 for an upside target of 249. And the other stock to look at is Raymond's. If you look at this stock, the stock did correct, and then the stock has bounced back from almost 480, 500 levels. Technically, if I look at it on different time frames, so the intermediate term trend is quite strong and positive. Short term trend, we are seeing some sort of consolidation post the correction. So there's a possibility that we could witness an upside in the stock. So this is one stock one can look at for an upside target of 645 in the short term and a stop loss of 569.
All right. Thank you so much, Amar, for helping us with your top picks and also helping us understand what the markets are going to look like over the next few weeks. Great speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
All right, then moving on, let's go to Srishti now, who's standing by with a technical chart check. Srishti, which are the stocks that have made it to your list?
Well, two counters on the breakout side that we wish to highlight today. Firstly, let's have a look at one of the banking counters, and that is Bandhan Bank on the charts. Because yes, of course, this is one of those most volatile counters. But for today, what we see that the stock is not just in the uptrend for itself, but for the past almost 7 to 8 days has been consolidating downwards, and the stock was actually taking support at its 20-day moving average. For today, we have seen a bit of a bounce back on this particular stock, very well taking support from its 20-day moving average. And not just that, if you check out the derivative side as well, we have seen some additions on the long side. So this is the first counter that we wish to highlight on the breakout side. But moving on to the next counter then, and that is Avenue Supermarts. Yes, this counter was indeed in the news flow on the back of News Store Edition in Uttar Pradesh, in Agra, and that was the fundamental reason indeed. But for today, it's been a 3 to 4% jump coming in on Avenue Supermarts, and this is the technical setup what we have been spotting, because the stock was actually seen to be taking support near about that 4,000 mark. It did form a base over there. Now once again resuming its journey, and the stock is now at almost a 6-week high for itself, taking a support and bounce from its 20-day moving average even on the weekly chart. And this is what we wish to highlight on the breakout side. So these are the two stocks on the breakout side. Back to you.
All right, the two stocks on the breakout today, but let's move across to the word coming in from the wise. Then Troy Irani, the CEO of Helios Mutual Fund, shared a list of sectors that he finds rather attractive. He also mentions recent portfolio changes that he has made. Let's listen in.
The BFSI space looks pretty healthy going forward. That's the one area that we are very gung-ho about. The second one, which is in healthcare, which is mainly the hospital segment, I think that's going to do phenomenally well. Tourism, again, with a lag, it'll catch up, given that the per capita are going to go up. And obviously, our new age companies. I think that's where we've really focused on the NBFC space and the new age companies, where we increase our exposure going forward, because I think this is what India has to offer. And I think that's where the real growth will be. You'll see quite a few small cap and mid cap NBFCs which have made it into our portfolio. And frankly, I mean, even the gold lenders for that matter. The insurance space has been fairly good for us. I mean, we've been stocking up, but mainly on the life insurance part. The general insurance we've not been that gung-ho about, but life insurance we've been fairly bullish on. I think the money managers, be it the AMCs or the wealth managers, I think they're doing good. They're going to do fairly well with this kind of liquidity coming in and the deposit rates going down. The only other revenue is probably mutual funds, equities, and so on and so forth. So I think that's where the growth will come through.
All right, that's the latest word coming in from Dinshar Irani about the sectors he's liking at this point. But on that note, we'll take a very short break. So be right back. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You tune into your trades. Well, we all know about the big block deal that kept Hindustan Zinc under pressure. Vedanta and Hindustan Zinc that were in focus today. In fact, Vedanta has picked up 7% stake for a size of 3,323 crore rupees. And on the back of that, both the counters were in focus. We caught up with Arun Misra, who's the CEO and whole-time director Hindustan Zinc, who shared that they aim to double their capacity. Let's go across and listen in to what else he had to say.
We are currently at about 1.1 million ton capacity, and we said that we want to become a 2 million ton metal player, that is zinc plus lead together, roughly about 1.6 million ton zinc and 0.4 million ton of lead, and at the same time take our silver production from 750 tons to about 1500 tons. So in that step, we said that we'll come out with multiple announcements within a span of 2 to 3 months. This is the first announcement we are making, that we will create a capacity of 250,000 tons of zinc smelter in Debari, along with new melting, casting, roaster, a new mill for processing ore, and expansion of Agucha mines. So overall, at 12,000 crores, we will produce about 0.25 million tons of additional zinc. Yes, Hindustan Zinc is very much interested in mining and processing rare earth minerals. It has its own challenges, but having spent so many years in zinc and lead and silver smelting, we feel very confident of developing properties on rare earth minerals as well. And especially, as you know, for minerals required for magnet, this is strategically important to India.
All right, that's the word coming in from Hindustan Zinc top boss. But moving on, apart from Hindustan Zinc, which were the other stocks that were buzzing in trade today? Ravinder is joining us with just that list.
Well, Avenue Supermart is in focus. The company has opened a new store at Agra, and this is the Avenue Mart's first major store in Uttar Pradesh. The total number of the store as on date stand at 421 across country. Apart from this, Mahindra & Mahindra is also in focus. The company has received unconditional approval from CCI for the proposed acquisition of SML, and company will make an open offer at rupees 1,554.6 per share. Moving to next, delivery is also in focus, where company has received CCI approval for the proposal to acquire at least 99.44% stake in logistic firm e-commerce express for around 1400 crore for bolstering its e-commerce delivery presence. So back of this, delivery is also in focus. Moving to next, on back of brokerage note, Nykaa is also in focus, where Jefferies has come out with a note on Nykaa, and they have maintained their buy rating with target price of rupees 240. And lastly, Navin Fluorine is also in focus, where Avendus Spark has come out with a note, and they have initiated a coverage with buy rating with target price of rupees 4,800. So back of this, Navin Fluorine is also in focus.
All right, those were the stocks in focus today. But besides that, even IndusInd Bank was in focus on the back of an upgrade coming in from Nomura that have upgraded it to a buy call from an earlier neutral and also hiked the target price. The house has increased the FY 27-28 EPS estimate by 14 to 16% too. Sharad is joining in with the details.
In focus is IndusInd Bank, and there's a significant upgrade coming in from Nomura, and they have upgraded the ratings from neutral to buy, and the target price that has also jumped from 700 to 1050 odd rupees. Now, of course, couple of months there have been issues when it comes to the leadership exit and also accounting treatments and adjustment, but the broking house has stated that the bank has undergone a significant cleanup of its book, and also one-time provisions have already occurred. Interestingly, the near-term stock performance was muted because of leadership exits, but over the medium term itself, historically speaking, the stock has done well. Apart from this, the capital and the liquidity positions remain healthy with CET1 ratio at 15.1%, that's a capital adequacy ratio, and the LCR ratio coming in at 118%. As per the broking house, there is a strong business model, and especially in the retail front, the significant improvement is coming. And also they have increased the FY27, FY28 EPS by 14 to 16%.
All right, thank you so much, Sharad, for joining us with all those details. But with that, it's time to wrap this edition of Your Trades. Ankita and I will take your leave. Thank you so much for tuning in. More news and updates coming up on the other side, so don't go anywhere.